Welcome. In this video, you're about to learn some interesting things you may have never heard of before. So grab some tea, buckle up, and let's have a go. Isaac Newton, most famous for formulating the theory of universal gravitation, is said to have been deeply invested in the study of alchemy, devoting a significant portion of his time and writing to the subject. In fact, many consider it was an obsession for him, given the extensive amount of notes and experiments he conducted. Newton wrote more on the subject of alchemy than on mathematics and physics combined. The record for the longest breath-holding time underwater is incredibly over 24 minutes. In March 2021, Budimir Shobat of Sisak, Croatia, set this world record. He trained for 3 years to achieve this, and he purposely hyperventilated with pure oxygen before his attempt, and focused on his heartbeat while underwater. I'm getting a bit winded just talking about this. Have you any guess what the oldest known musical instrument is? It's the flute. A flute made from cave bear bones was discovered by archaeologists in Slovenia in 1995 and is estimated to be around 50,000 years old. Some of the earliest music itself, however, was likely made using drum-based instruments like sticks and rocks, which were the most readily available at the time. The city of Amsterdam in the Netherlands is built on millions of wooden poles. True story. Geological estimates state that the city is supported by around 11 million poles to prevent sinking into the soft ground beneath it, as the city sits largely below sea level. These poles on average are typically 15 to 20 meters long. Forests can create rain. Really? Through a process called the biotic pump, forests draw so much water from the soil that they can actually generate rain clouds. Trees absorb water from the soil and release it as water vapor through their leaves, adding moisture to the air. The vapor can then condense into clouds when it reaches cooler atmospheric levels. How about that? Magiricophobia may be a hard word to pronounce, but it's a real condition. Magiricophobia is an extreme fear of cooking, and people with this condition will likely avoid cooking altogether, or even just the thought of it. They may be afraid of cooking for large groups, cooking for themselves, or making specific foods. They may also worry about making mistakes or dwell on past mistakes that could be embarrassing or traumatizing.
Compared to the age of the Earth, modern humans evolved relatively recently. Want a real analogy? If we compressed the entire history of life on Earth into an hour, human existence would only span the very last few seconds. The Earth is estimated to be around 4.5 billion years old. This analogy simply highlights the immense amount of time that passed before humans came into existence. If you're learning English as a second language, or if you struggle with it in general, you might want to watch this one twice. Capitonyms are words that change their meaning if the first letter is capitalized. Capitonyms are a specific type of homograph, a word that is spelled the same but has different meanings. In fact, they can change meaning and sometimes pronunciation when capitalized. The capitalization usually happens when the word becomes a proper noun or a name associated with a specific person or thing. And whoever said learning English was easy? Are you in love? Or maybe falling for someone? Well, did you know that when two lovers gaze into each other's eyes, their heart rates often synchronize? It's true. Studies have shown that couples in romantic relationships, even without physical contact, can experience their heart rates and breathing patterns aligning when in close proximity. The exact mechanisms behind this synchronization are still being studied, but it's believed to be related to a deep, subconscious connection between individuals who share close emotional bonds. The first artificial sweetener to come into existence was saccharin. It was discovered accidentally in 1879 by Konstantin Fahlberg and Ira Remsen at Johns Hopkins University while experimenting with coal tar derivatives. Fahlberg noticed a sweet taste on his hands after working with the compound, leading him to identify it as saccharin. Modern chickens are considered the closest living relatives to the Tyrannosaurus rex. Yeah, really. This is because all birds, including chickens, are descendants of theropod dinosaurs, a group that includes T-Rex. Scientists have found evidence through molecular analysis of T-Rex proteins that they are more closely related to chickens and other birds than to other reptiles like alligators. I mean, the size difference too. Who knew? Every year, the world experiences a massive human migration. Any guesses when? It occurs during the Chinese New Year. Yep, the Chinese New Year, also known as Spring Festival. It's indeed the world's largest annual human migration, with an estimated 385 million Chinese people traveling to reunite with their families or visit loved ones over the 40-day celebration. How about that?
The popular musician David Bowie had two different colored eyes, a condition known as heterochromia. This was caused by a fight in his youth, which left one pupil permanently dilated. During the Victorian era, in the 19th century, women wore tightly laced corsets to achieve a slender hourglass figure. However, doing so often led to health issues like fainting spells, digestive problems, and even organ damage. The first commercial music compact disc pressed in the United States was Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA in 1984. This marked the beginning of the CD era in music. Early fitness trackers like the Fitbit and others were inspired by pedometers, devices that date back to Leonardo da Vinci, who sketched an early version to measure Roman soldiers' steps. Martin Luther King Jr.'s iconic "I Have a Dream" speech was not initially intended to include the famous "I Have a Dream" refrain. He improvised it on the spot, inspired by gospel singer Mahalia Jackson's encouragement to tell them about the dream. The reason men's and women's shirts button on opposite sides is historical. For men, buttons were placed for ease of access to their right hand in combat or riding, while for women, it was to make it easier for maids to dress them. How about that? Did you fancy that? I know that we liked putting it together for you. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.